Welcome back to Georgie Tech, and we're gonna continue learning about our phone with Grok. And today, let's stick to Grok and not have me talking about what all of this means. Okay, I'm gonna act like I don't know anything. So let's go back to the settings. So in the settings here, we're gonna go over to Cellular today. So today we're gonna about Cellular. How does this, like, what all of this? What happened to the turn on cellular, roaming on off, and I think it was like 4G, 5G, or whatever, and that was it, or in airplane mode, right? And now it's like it got all kinds of complications over here. Okay, so first one, cellular data. Should we have this on? Should we have this off? Or what's the take on this? Well, if you have this off, your cellular network's not work. And obviously, if you turn it on, make sure that you actually have a cellular plan, or else it's not gonna work. So let's just keep it as simple as possible. So cellular data options. So we're gonna have here a couple options here. So for example, like, hey, I don't know what is this, Grok. Can you teach me? On the iPhone, the cellular data options. Can you explain what they are and what I should choose when roaming on or off? And I put roaming there because it requires roaming. So can you explain what okay, so there you go, and let's turn it on. Let's go, Grok. Let's see what you're gonna give us today. So on the iPhone, the cellular data options allow you to manage how and when your device uses cellular data. Here's an explanation of the main settings related to roaming. So cellular data. To toggle this on, let you turn on off the cellular data. When off, your iPhone would only connect to the internet as Wi-Fi. Duh, we just talked about that. Data roaming on allows your device to connect to the data services when you are outside your carrier network area. This is essential if you want to use mobile data while traveling internationally or areas not covered by your home. Obviously, if I have AT&T, and so I don't think AT&T charges anything extra when it comes to roaming. So like if you're jumping into a Verizon or T-Mobile carriers area, then you'll be jumping around. And so if you turn this off, then you won't, essentially it prevents your iPhone from using data services when outside your carrier network. So it's going to be up to you, obviously, if you're going to be traveling abroad and whatever. If your data plan supports any international areas, then cool. If not, then obviously you gotta get one of those little SIM cards that you could go, or in some locations you could also get like eSIMs. So that's pretty much what it is. The voice and data, does it talk about the voice and data? So we talked about that when using turn on or off data roaming. Obviously, we'll talk about to avoid experiences roaming charges. So if you think that they're going to be additional, always check with your carrier for international. And just like I said, same thing here. So that's pretty cool. Grok got a good point there. So let's move on to the next part, voice and data on the iPhone here. This is going to be something that you could kind of play around. I recommend anyone out there to play this around. I think by default you'll have LTE on. Oh no, 5G auto. And so according to Apple, 5G auto uses 5G only when needed for performance while optimizing battery life. 5G on and uses 5G whenever it's possible, even if it may reduce battery life or performance. So depending on where you live, I would just say toggle this on depending on your needs and how your performance is. So let's talk to Grok and what it actually says. What about the voice and data options? Let's see what it gives us. I misspelled options already. Regarding the voice and data options on your iPhone, here's what they typically include and what you might choose in various scenarios. So the LTE 4G. So if you have an older phone, you'll have the 4/4G. This setting allows your iPhone to use LTE or 4G networks for both voice call and data. It means you can use high-speed data even during a phone call, which is beneficial if you are streaming or using data-heavy applications simultaneously. Choose this when you want to ensure you have the fastest data speeds available and your carrier supports voice over LTE for clear calls and simulation data usage. Okay. Um, I personally always keep it an LTE. At least where I live, I get better performance versus if I change it over to 5G or 5G auto. Since we're looking at my phone, let's see what Grok says about the 5G auto. Uses 5G when it's available and efficient. Otherwise, falls back to LTE and another available network. It is designated to balance between speed and battery life using 5G when beneficial. I think this is one of the reasons why I use LTE only, because I did notice that on the 5G you do consume a lot more battery power, at least where I live, and so that's why I turned, so going back to you guys choosing what you guys want to do. Choose 5G auto on. Okay, so on, it forces the data to use 5G when available, even if it might consume more battery. This ensures you always gain the fastest network possible. And it's not always true, because you could have, say, 5G on and you might actually have coverage for 5G, but let's just say the tower is, farther away. And so, okay, yeah, I got 5G, but the closest tower that I have is it's not 5G. So you're going to actually get worse performance. So I would probably recommend 5G. So let's go back to continue what else we have here. So AT&T, turn on this line. Yeah, just turn it on. Wi-Fi calling. So, we actually skip personal hotspot. So if your plan supports personal hotspot, then keep in mind you could turn this on. And I think this is going to be very simple, because allow others to join. This is going to be something that, for example, if you have an iPad or a Mac, and you are connected using the same iCloud, and you already have connected to the personal hotspot once, say you don't have Wi-Fi available on your iPad or Mac or any other iOS device, then you'll notice that, or Apple device, you'll notice that it will ask you, hey, such and such as iPhone is available. Do you want to connect to that? And it's nice that it's just like a clean connection. Family sharing is the same thing, but if you're going to be sharing over to family, so I have my family there, and if you have a family sharing on, then anyone around you, if they don't have any Wi-Fi, then and say you have cellular network, then you'll be able to connect to that. Maximize compatibility. So internet performance may be reduced when devices connects to your hotspot when turned on. Yeah. Just obviously, I think this will also do some of that controlling metering, I guess. Let's see. Inside the personal hotspot, what is the maximize compatibility? Let's see what it says. I want to learn too. Let's learn together. Okay, so the maximize capability options inside the personal hotspot setting on iPhone is designed to make your hotspot more accessible to a wider range of devices, particularly older ones that might not support I see Wi-Fi standards. Because keep in mind your hotspot is slightly different. As far as how it actually connects to a device is different than your regular Wi-Fi at home. There's a separate, we could kind of dive into another video if you guys want me to, but it's different. So sometimes you could have an issue where if you're trying to connect a device to a personal hotspot, it might actually give you an option or an error telling you that, hey, this is a unsecured, or unstable, or something about performance, and it can't connect to it, or whatever the case is. So if you want to, I would say turn that on if you want to connect some devices that might have that issue, that doesn't want to connect, maybe a old printer. That's what I see. That's what I see. All right, let's move on here. Wi-Fi calling. If so, this one's getting important. I hate people that have this off and they said my Wi-Fi calling don't work. I'm like, bro, then turn it on. Well, how do I turn it on? So, if you have never turned this on, Wi-Fi calling, you could go ahead and toggle it there. If it is your first time, it's gonna go ahead and open up like web page, and it's gonna ask you to what's the word? Yeah, it's gonna ask you to register your device, because it needs to understand like your location. And so if you have AT&T, it's gonna take you to the AT&T website. If it's Verizon, it's gonna take you to the Verizon website. And then if it's T-Mobile, it's gonna take you to the T-Mobile this website, and it's gonna go ahead and just authenticate. I think there are some carriers, so if you have a prepaid plan, you might actually have to call them, and they have to, activate Wi-Fi calling, because it's something that your phone will allow that communication to go, but it's up to, say, whoever your carrier is to decide what is like if you could use their Wi-Fi calling or not. So just keep in mind that. I don't think we need to ask Grok about that. Let's ask Grok. Tell me a joke about Wi-Fi calling. Sure. Here's a Wi-Fi calling joke for you. Why did the smartphone go to therapy? Because they had an identity crisis every time it switched from Wi-Fi calling back to cellular. It didn't know it was home or roaming. Another one. Yeah. Okay. Some of you guys might find it funny, but I don't. I don't know why. Why don't ghosts use Wi-Fi calling? Because they can never get a good signal without a dead zone. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Grok does it again one more time. Oh my god, that is funny. That is funny. But let's move on, because you guys are here to learn about Cellular, right? Not about Grok. Yeah. Okay. So calls on other device. So same thing. If you have Wi-Fi calling, and if you have an iOS, if you have like an iPad or a Mac, I noticed this feature works better for like a Mac. So if you want to make calls using your Mac, then you could turn this on, and is able to use other devices. That's pretty cool. Carrier services. What is this? So if you like, I have AT&T, and it's really neat that iPhone has this. I think Androids have this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you do have any questions regarding your account, so like this is a quick way to go over to, and just press these numbers. It's pretty much gonna go ahead and make a call to that number that you see there, and you'll get some of this information. So if you want to pay your bill, check your balance and stuff like that. So okay. SIM pin. If you are still using SIM, I'm using eSIM. So if you're using a SIM, then you could actually set a pin. It's kind of like you're just encrypting it. So that's cool. Add eSIM. So some devices will allow you to have dual SIM capability. So you could, that's what that is. If you want to add an extra SIM. Current period, this is the amount of how much data you actually have used over cellular. If you haven't, I don't think this resets. I think it just stays there. So if you don't reset this here, which actually, how do you do that? Good question. I guess it might be like a month, right? So this is just going to tell you the total amount of data that you have used using cellular network. And then obviously current period roaming. As you notice, like almost no roaming. So I guess I'm in areas where AT&T is available. And okay, so this next part is pretty much going to give you the options to select all the devices that could use your cellular network. So you know how like when you download an application and it's going to ask you all these allow prompts, allowed to do this, to allow to do that, allowed to do this. One of the questions will most likely be allow this application to use cellular data. And if you accidentally said no, then this is one location where you could go and toggle it on. So if there is a device that or an application that is not working outside of Wi-Fi, then you kind of check this and see if it's toggled on. Wi-Fi assist. So this one I fucking hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I'm sorry for me cussing. So Wi-Fi assist pretty much is if you're connected to a Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi decides to not have a good connection. Say the performance on the Wi-Fi is not working, or say the network went out. So if you have Spectrum, I hate Spectrum. If you have Spectrum and if you live in LA, it's probably the worst internet you could have. But pretty much, yeah. So like, if Spectrum goes down, then it's gonna detect that the Wi-Fi is not, there's no connection, so it's going to switch over to Cellular. So that's all that means. I keep it off because it's like I always have a good Wi-Fi, and I want to know if there's an issue with my Wi-Fi, and it's just me. iCloud Drive. Why was this? When not connected to Wi-Fi, use Cellular net. Okay, so yeah, so if you're doing any type of uploading to your iCloud, or if you're doing backups, then you could turn that on, obviously, for your drive. And then for the backup, it's a separate one. I keep it off, because, like, there's no reason for my phone to back up via taking my cellular data, even though I have it limited. But I know from time to time when the network is high, quote unquote, then, that gets a little tricky there. Current time, 19 hours, 44 minutes. So I guess, the call time that it's actually and I've been calling for 19 hours. That's not a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of people. Comment below of how many hours do you have of call time. Lifetime 19 hours. Yeah, I guess I don't use the phone a lot. Enable cellular usage statistics. And this right here, reset statistics, actually is what reset this right here. All of the information, I believe it will also reset all of this here. If you turn this off, this actually also is being used by Apple Intelligence. So if you don't want to share with Apple Intelligence some of your cellular statistics, then you could turn this off here and go along your way. Okay, so let's go back to Grok and ask. Remember Ask Jeeves? Whoever had Ask Jeeves? Man, that was crazy. Crazy times. Tell me a cellular joke about... What should we talk about? Just a joke. Why did the phone go to jail? Because it couldn't stop roaming, and when they finally caught it, they changed it with excessive data usage. Oh, they charge it with excessive data usage. I don't know. Man. Freaking Grok. Always coming with some weird ass some stuff. Tell me another. Types of phone humor. I like how it gives you some, suggestions there. Phone humor spans across various categories, reflecting the evolution of phone technology and the quirks of our dependency of these devices. Here are some types. Technical jokes. Okay, it's gonna bring us different type of jokes here. Jokes about connectivity issues like drop calls, bad signal, or hold on. So it's types of phone humor. And so I guess if I want to talk about or give jokes about phones, then I guess these are a couple of different options that I could explore to tell my jokes. Old versus new phones. Comparing I guess you could compare. Oh god. I think we're gonna be going down a rabbit hole that I even don't want to go to. But that was it. We learned a little bit more of what the cellular settings are here. If you want to learn more, let me know. Send me a message here on YouTube or on X, and we could dive into something a little bit more different if you want to. But overall, that was pretty much it. So don't forget to subscribe, like. Thank you guys for watching. This was Georgie Tech.